Well, hello and welcome to this latest video. This is part 2 of programming and using HTML, and today we're going to look at headings. Okay, we're going through the basics using the premise that it's best to walk before you can run. So we're going to go through all the basics first, and then we'll go on to the more complex items later. Okay, headings are one of the original tags from HTML, from the very first HTML. If you remember in the last video, we did an HTML layout. So first of all, HTML tags opening and closing to tell the browser it's HTML. Then a head tag to tell it this is the head part with all the information about the document. In our case, it just includes the title. Then a body tag, opening and closing, which is the information which is actually going to be displayed by the browser. And inside that, we had some paragraph tags, okay, denoting paragraphs. Now, I know that they're not that interesting, but there we are. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create another folder. So I've clicked on HTML, right click on it, click on new folder, and we want HTML2. Okay, so that's now created us a new folder with, as you can see, nothing in it. So right click on index.html, copy, right click on HTML2 and paste. Okay, and we now have an exact copy of index.html. So we'll close this copy here. Okay, so we don't have any open, and what we'll do is we'll close up. One of the things about Atom you might not know is it actually gives you a preview. Notice that this is in italics. Because I've actually clicked on index.html, it hasn't opened it, it's actually given me a preview of it. Okay, so I can close that. I'm going to close HTML1. We'll now only be working on HTML2, so double click on index. Right, there are 6 heading tags, and each browser has its own default way of displaying it. So let's have a look at the heading tags. So make a new space just after body, a new line, and the heading tags are of course H1, okay, and a closing tag. Okay, and what we'll do is, it will be very interesting, we'll type in heading 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy the whole of that line. So Control C, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that tells you there are 6 heading tags. Okay, so I know that there are easier ways of doing this than the way I'm doing it at the moment, but I haven't shown you that. So just for now, I'm going to do it the hard way, because if you don't know how to do it this way and you get to the stage where you have to do everything manually, then you're going to have a bit of a problem. So it's always best to learn the full method first and then go on to a different method. These tooltips are starting to annoy me, so I may well switch them off. Okay, I would recommend you leave them on, but I'll switch them off for me. So, and again, so we want 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so let's go into packages, and where's Atom Live Server, and we're going to start the server. Okay, now you can see that this is in blue, which means that we need to save it. So Control and S. It's now come into white. There's and it's all saved. Okay. Right, so now you can actually see the page that we created. As I say, we should really change the heading, so I'm going to change that to second web page, and Control and S just to save it. And as you can see, the heading has changed, and if we change first at the bottom to second, okay, and again save that, you'll see that it gets updated. So you can see the different types of headings, H1 to H6. Now H6 is very small, it's actually smaller than your normal text. Okay, but these are the standard headings that we have, and they're literally called H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6, and they have a closing tag. Okay, so those are the headings. At the moment we're just using the defaults from the web browser. Each web browser has a slightly different default on that, but we're just using the defaults. Okay, we need to update this on GitHub. Okay, so click on, at the bottom, click on one file. So we have to stage this. Okay, so we need to stage them. Okay, so now that has been staged, and we now need to give it a commit message. So we're going to do HTML2 headings. Okay, and commit to master. Okay, so that has been committed to master. Let me just actually close this as we don't need it, and we'll take that back to full screen. Okay, so it's been committed to the master, everything is done. We now need to push it up to GitHub, and so here we go, it's now pushing it up to GitHub, and that's everything done. So we now have that on GitHub as well under HTML2. So next time we're going to look at lists and how we can use lists. As I said, we're going through the very basics to start with, and then we'll get on to the more interesting items a bit later on. So please like and subscribe. My name's John, and I'll see you next time.